What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and we're back. The things are stranger. They are. This is the volume 2 of volume 5 of Stranger Things. So the things keep getting stranger, and it's also episode 5 of volume 5 of volume 2. This is so it's Stranger Things 5, volume 2, episode 5. It has audio description. um, so what had happened was on Stranger Things. Um, Elle rescued her friend. I'm gonna break them down because they're still sort of split up. This is one of those things where it's just like it's easier instead of bouncing around to just be like, this is what happened to this group. So Elle saved her friend who has the ability to create like holographic images. I forget her name. I'm sorry. She's been back in the series for like a hot second. It's like Psy or something like that. Sid or something really small. um, but Jane L11, I call her L. Jane, um, and her friend, the two powered individuals, are with Hopper, and they're supposed to rendezvous with those that crashed into the wall. You know, the Jonathan, Dustin, Steve, Nancy, but they're not there. And so Jane decides to tell Hopper that she was upset that he was ready to blow himself up in the previous episode, and how hurt she was. And she's like, I saw your face. You were planning on doing this. You were planning on not telling me. And he tries to say it was a fail-safe just in case. But she believes that it was always that he was going to do that. Meanwhile, we did see a little brief scene of, them finding out that she's gone. The girls, that's how the episode opens, is that they break into where Jane's friend was, and there's a hologram of her there. Um, and they figure out it's a hologram and that she's gone and missing. So now they're in the upside down because it's just so easy to get in the upside down now. Probably, if I had to say the one thing I like the least about this is how cool it is to just be in the upside down nowadays. Like it's like it's a tourist destination. People just drive in and out of they're just in the upside down. We're just like, hey, we're here. Um, I know that that's where the facility was, where they had to go into, and they came out and went anyway. But yeah, there's too many people in the upside down right now that are just like hanging out. So um, they uh, they go through sort of trying to find the rest of the gang, and basically there's not much that happens between these guys except for Jane's friend sort of shows her this future, and argues with her that they'll never really accept us, because what she went through was the fact that what they were using for her for was blood, and they were trying to recreate more of them. Like, that's what they wanted. That's what this Linda Hamilton doctor wanted to do, was to use her blood to create more. And they just kept taking more and more blood, and she was unconscious the whole time, but she knew what they were doing. So, because Jane thinks that they'll get past this and they'll be able to live normal lives, and she's trying to convince her that they won't be. So that's kind of what they do. That's their whole thing. They don't actually find the others in episode 5. The others actually have one of the more interesting plots of the thing. Dustin, Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy head off, and at first there's a bit of a kerfuffle. They kind of split up. They're in this church. Dustin and Steve head off, and Jonathan and Nancy. But first, Dustin has an idea where he brings up Return of the Jedi, and Star Wars, and getting the force field. Like, you have to tear down the force field to blow up the Death Star. So how they get past the force field is they have to find the thing that's generating it. So they're trying to find it in the old like Hawkins lab thing. So that's where they are. Sorry, the Jane and Hopper at a church. The others went to the old Hawkins lab, and they split up. And Jonathan and Nancy have a little bit of an argument, but Jonathan finds that there might be some truth to what Dustin was saying when he finds like things that are melted. And so they start climbing to the roof. Meanwhile, Dustin and Steve have a big fight. Steve is really mean about about the death of Eddie from last season. He's kind of a dick, actually, but and saying that Dustin somehow like he got beaten up because he's looking for a fight, which is like kind of true, but he also did just kind of get jumped. He wasn't technically looking for that fight. He did just go to a graveyard and he got jumped. So, it wasn't a great, and the two of them fought, and Dustin's radio breaks, although they don't seem to be hearing Hopper anyway, so I don't know what the purpose of having the radios is if they can't hear Hopper. I guess they can only hear each other. I don't know. But yeah, his radio breaks, which is going to come into play later when Dustin finds the kind of information that suggests that, yes, he's right, there is a generator, but oh no, that's not what it does. And if they destroy it, they'll die. So he's frantically, the episode ends with him like running, trying to stop Jonathan and Nancy, who have made it to the roof, and they found something. Jonathan who grabbed the pipe, or Nancy? One of them rips like a pipe and throws it up at the force field. And then they find a thing, and Nancy's got her shotgun. She's ready to pull the trigger, and it kind of leaves us with this like, oh no, what happened? It reminded me a little bit of Lost season 5 finale with the explosion, and we were left with the what happened after the bomb went off. So we'll find out. I did they just kill off 4 characters? Probably not. I'm just gonna guess. But we'll see. So in group 3, we have Will, Mike, Lucas, Erica, and Winona Ryder, and my hawk. I'm forgetting their names. This is hard. So they're all together, and they come up with, Lucas and Erica, his sister, come up with 2 different ideas. Erica's is a little bit slower to achieve, and Lucas's is faster. So they start kind of, Winona Ryder says it's easier to just kind of do both, and see which one, throw 2 darts and hope we hit the bullseye. So Will has surmised that the way that his powers work is that he needs to tap into the hive mind, and if there's no hive mind, he can't do anything. He has no powers without a hive mind. But they have these dead demigorgons, and so Lucas's idea is to kind of revive them, like Frankensteinish, using electricity to bring them back to life and create their own hive mind, which actually works, shockingly. They don't really revive, but they create enough energy out of the demigorgon by shocking it Frankenstein style. There was a great Young Frankenstein joke that I hope everybody got there, where I can't remember who says it to my hawk, but they say, now Dr. Frankenstein, and she goes, it's pronounced Frankenstein. She's so just a nice reference to the time, a nice pop culture joke for the time period. But it's going to come into play in a minute when I explain everything else that's happening. Mike doesn't really do anything in this part. I mean, Mike's just kind of there to support Will and be like excited for Will. Will has a moment where he does talk to my hawk. I'm just gonna keep using her name. Um, about her um being out, and how did she do that, and how did anybody, and she was like, the first person I told was Steve. That was scary. She's like, I know I didn't just walk up to a girl and ask her out. It was hard for me to tell somebody, but the first person I told was Steve. So, um, yeah, I think that's, he's gonna end up telling somebody by the end of the season, but who? Probably his mom. Just be really honest. Joyce, I remembered her name. Jesus fucking Christ. Um, so, uh, yes, that's them. And then we have the other group, which is Vecna slash Henry slash Mr. Whatsit, who successfully managed to take all of the kids. Oh, Murray does bring. Sorry, Murray's in the episode. He rendezvous with Joyce and them and brings them food. And there's a joke about bugles, and Joyce is like, "Is this really food?" And he's like, "It's sustenance. Like you need something, right? Like beggars can't be choosers," type of thing. But man, he doesn't really do much this episode. I actually forgot he was in it. Um, Vecna slash Henry slash Mr. Whatsit. He has all of the children, and we see them, and they're sort of in this grimy place with like tubes hanging out of them, but they all believe that they're in this like virtual reality where everything is perfect, and it's where the house is that we saw uh Mike's sister at. I forgot her name. Holly. There we go. Um, so where Holly was taken, and she was supposed to just stay in the house, and she wandered off and found Max. Remember that whole thing. So, well, Holly is rejoined by the rest of her class, including Derek, who got taken, and I don't know, 10 other kids that don't really matter. I'm sorry. I don't think they do. I don't know if they're ever going to offer anything to the story cohesively as individuals. Only I think one of them has a name. I think the other 9 of them don't. So Holly kind of heads out into the woods a little bit to try to rendezvous with Max because she's worried about what's happening. Max is like, "You can't be here. What if I saw you?" And Holly's like, "No, I was careful." Of course she wasn't, because Derek followed her. Um, but Derek admits, he's like, "I'm not Derek anymore. I'm friends with your brother, blah, blah, blah. I'm delightful Derek. And, I could tell that you knew this was all bullshit from your reaction to Mr. Whatsit." So they devise some sort of plan. It's really hard because they don't actually tell Derek what it is. It's one of those things where they cut away, where I think Holly's like, "I have a plan, but we're going to need, you can't be delightful Derek, you're gonna need to be dipshit Derek." And he's like, "I can do that." And so he ends up just like wandering around the woods with a map. And then Henry finds him and is like really angry with him, and then starts showing him these horrific images of his family. He's like, "If you don't tell me I'm gonna kill your family and gouge all their eyes out." I'm like, wow, you're just go from 0 to 100 real fast. So I guess Derek gave up the position because Henry does actually find them. And uh, what Max was trying to do with Holly was help her through her memory to find the first time and the last time that she found Henry in her dreams, and hopefully she can exit through there. They're trying to find the exit, like what Max had almost been able to do. And but Henry shows up as Vecna, and starts strangling Max. Holly isn't able to really do anything. She's also afraid. Max does try to say some encouraging things to Holly about being, not scared. Because remember, he chose these people because they're weak. A recurring theme that Will is no longer weak, and he misjudged Will to begin with. And obviously Derek was weak because he gave up the position, and Holly is sort of weak because she's not saving Max. She's not fighting back. So Max almost dies. we cut to her in a hospital room, and like she's almost coding, like her heart rate is changing and everything from being strangled in wherever we are. And and then all of a sudden the Project Frankenstein works, and Will is able to tap into the hive mind, and he can control Vecna, and he sees everything, and he sees Max there, and everybody's like, Max is in the what? But he doesn't really offer a whole lot of context. He's just trying to save Max at this point. So he takes over Vecna, and he starts doing the thing. He's having a really hard time, and they're trying to up the juice. But he does break one of Vecna's legs. Not heals, because Vecna is more powerful than the Demigorgons. But it's just enough to to save Max and get her out of there, presumably. But yeah, Vecna even throws. He's like, "Get out of my head!" And he throws Will in where Will is in the real world. But Will stays connected, and he's like, "No, give me more." So they turn up the electricity that they're jolting into the Demigorgon to give him more power. So he continues to battle Vecna on that. And so the question is is he is he powerful enough to take out Vecna on another swing? Is did Max and Holly reach safety? Those kind of things I didn't really get answered this episode. But we're mostly waiting to see if Dustin was right about the explosion, which I don't think he will be. It's not going to kill all of them. Like, I don't know what it's going to do, but I don't think we're going to lose 4 people in one grand swoop like that. I mean, we are at the end of the season, but that still feels like a lot, you know? Especially considering he doesn't really explain what it's for. And that's part of the reason, is even if the explosion happens, then it's just like, well, he was wrong. And then it's like, well, what was it for? What did it do? I feel like one of them would have to live like Dustin or something, where we just kill the 2 who are on the roof, like Jonathan and Nancy, and then Dustin would be like, no, I didn't get you in time. Shit. So, anyway, that's Stranger Things episode 5. I'll be back tomorrow with Stranger Things episode 6. I'm doing this one by one. I know some people, they watch the whole thing, and I have the rest of the episodes already broken up one by one, so I'm just gonna keep doing it like this. Anywho, I like the season. Like I said, my biggest complaint is just there are too many people in the Upside Down. It's not even. I think some people are like, oh, now Will has powers. Like, oh god, there's too many people with powers. I mean, that's a thing, but at the same time, it's kind of cool because that's kind of what Vecna's creating, which could backfire on him because he's trying to create like 12 people who would be like Will, and it's like, well, if they all have powers, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we end the series realizing that like Holly and Derek and all these people are all able to attack Vecna with whatever he's given them, and it turns on him like that, then sure. I don't think that's where we're going, but possible that is it. But yeah, there's just too many damn people in the Upside Down. We're just casually going in the Upside Down. It takes away the initial, like when we first went in the Upside Down and people were like, oh my god, oh god, this is creepy, oh god, this is scary. Now people are just like casually like walking through the Upside Down like it's Disney World. They see like a dead body on the floor that's like horrifically like dead, and they're like, on to the next attraction. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.